Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Utopia News Warcast news podcast by your host Wind. Alright, the date is April 8th, year 9, and the Age of Ascent is drawing to a close. A lot of things have happened in the warring community in the past week, several upsets, as well as we're going to see some new crown winners this age, so that's cool. Some of the players probably already have a bunch though, but congratulations to the new kingdoms who will be getting crowns this age, except for, Emirati. They always do that, so it's no surprise that they have a crown, and quite a lead it was. But that's neither here nor there. We're also going to look at a few of the top 10 kingdoms, their wars, and what it took to get them to the top 10 position, so the rest of you can see what it is that they do. Other than that, we'll do our regular thing and look at all the wars in progress, as well as some cool things that I think everybody should always check out. Alright, first off the bat, I want to thank GIMS for his awesome tools. This is something that he's been working on for a long time, so thank you GIMS for this. I mean, these are some great calculators. Any player, new and old, would love to use. You got your draft calculator, we've got your homes calculator, we've got your specialist calculator, we've got a dragon calculator, and we've got a science calculator as well, which is something that has just been produced recently. All of these are currently in the testing phases. As you can see, they're not even at version 1. Plunder is a nice one. This like pretty much tells you exactly what to do. War history, of course, we're going to look at that later. Looks like it's going to be tracking from age 94 on, so hopefully we'll be using this a lot more in the news podcast, which you're going to see very soon. Alright, let's take a look here. First of all, let's just make sure everything's good to go. It looks like we are good to go otherwise. Alright, so look at the top 10 kingdoms. As I said, Emirati currently with a big lead. Very likely to take the Networthing and Acre crown. No doubt there. Moron most likely to take the Warwin and Honor crown. So congratulations to them, or their two kingdoms who formed together. Whatever it is, you can ask them, they'll tell you. Syndicate, game well played, 5-6. Milkmen, Merciless. Basically, this age came down to this war essentially between Moron and Merciless, which unfortunately was interrupted by another kingdom with a dragon into the war, which kind of ruined it for everybody more or less. But it basically caused Merciless to a draw at min time. So essentially the crowns were given to Moron. Though they did fight very hard for them, there was still much more to happen in that battle, and it's just too bad we didn't get to see it play out. So we can thank, we know who to thank for that. I'm not going to name them by name. Rascals. Alright, We Hurt, Evolution, Enigma, Quell, the Resistance, and Screwbloods. Quell is a new kingdom, I believe. You can find more about Quell in the Muga Discord, so check them out. And Screwbloods, we know who that is. So congratulations to all of them for their positions in the top 10 net worth chart. Looking at the honor chart, as I said, Moron has quite a hefty lead. As you can see here, the withdrawal by Merciless essentially gave them a lead that was basically no one can really stop them at this point, despite what happens. Dreadful Fantasy coming up. That's good to see. We Hurt, Enigma, Syndicate, Dreadful Fantasy, Sway, Quell. Good to see Quell up in there as a new kingdom as well. They're doing extremely well, it would seem. At least they have some good planning as to what the kingdom's going to be doing. But as you can see, the Honor Crown basically, and as I said before, the Warwin crown basically came down to this war. Essentially, whoever won this war, that way they were basically the winners of the age. So unless something changes very soon, it's unlikely that anyone's going to surpass them. It might come close, but I just don't think it's possible at this time. So congratulations, Moron, ahead of time for your two crowns this age, defeating Merciless in your last war. So let's look into that a little bit further. Here is the wars in question, actually, that Moron fought. Special thanks again to GIMS for this war tracker. Saved me the trouble making it myself, and it is very awesome. As you can see, it's got the human dates down here as well, for which the war actually happened. And it has their scores going into it as well. So it's a very nice tool that everyone can benefit from. I don't think I need to name the usefulness of this tool. Pretty much shows you, what it's capable of. But as you can see, Moron clearly had the victory over here, over Merciless, due to that dragon, most likely. Otherwise, this looks like a pretty fair fight. As you can see, though, Moron, it's been seems like they got a lot of min-time wars here. So congratulations again to Moron. Looks like Moron versus Screwbloods was a min-time win for them. Moron Enigma min-time. Moron Emeriti lasted 106 ticks. Moron and Pirates 48 ticks, min-time win. Moron and Confessions of Lotus 48 ticks. So the majority of their wars were min-time wars. Congratulations, Moron, for that. Let's look at the next runner-up for wars. We've got Sway coming in at 6 wars and 6 wins. Their last war was against Dreadful Fantasy, who is extremely improving in the world of Legends. To be honest, looking at the numbers, it looks like it almost looks like Dreadful Fantasy may have won if you look at the end numbers, but looking at the start numbers, they definitely took a ton more damage, which you can see down here at the bottom here. Resource change over the 153 ticks. This was a very long war. We do have some data on them as well, so we won't go into them too in depth. I just kind of want to get the point across of what we can track now. So Sway versus Tugly Woods was a min-time win. Sway versus Can We was 50 ticks, so almost a min-time. Sway versus Warbirds, wow, that was quite a long war, but that's no real surprise, as Warbirds just dragged out a war very lengthy in their last war, which we are also going to look at as well. Again, thank you everyone for tagging, so we know who you are, and this can be recorded much easier, so there's no doubt about how good kingdoms actually are and their strategic ability. So looking at the next one, Merciless. Merciless is defeated by Moron. That's a min-time loss for them. As I said, though, that was something probably unexpected for them. 7 wars and 6 wins, I believe. They may have the top wars. I have to check to see who has more wars, but Merciless may have warred the most this age, actually, despite losing in the end. Min-time win against We Hurt. Min-time win against Quell. Min-time win against Haven't Decided Yet, 50 ticks. Merciless defeats Dreadful Fantasy in 48 ticks. Defeats Chilling in 138 ticks. And in 50 ticks, Hello Beaches is defeated. So congratulations, Merciless, on plenty of min-time wins there. The longest war being 138 ticks against Chilling 6-6 Kingdom. On to the next one, Enigma. Enigma defeats Warbirds in a 260 tick war. Holy cow, that is something special. Enigma defeats Syndicates in 52 ticks. Enigma is defeated by Moron in 48 ticks, as we saw before. Enigma defeats Emeriti. Yeah, that actually happened. Wow, yeah, I didn't realize that they lost twice this age in their wars. Enigma defeats Ho Ho Ho, and Enigma defeats Dumb Ways to Die. And min-time, that was their first out of protection war, so congratulations, guys. We Hurt defeats Syndicate in their last war, 128 ticks, but is defeated by Merciless, 48 ticks in their second last war. We Hurt in min-times, LS is the worst, 511. We've seen them before. We Hurt again, min-times, the WWE Chilling Kingdom. A great job, We Hurt again. These are some nice short wars. We Hurt defeats Divinity, defeats Serial Killers as well in 77 ticks. We Hurt defeats Syndicate in 53. Loses to Syndicate in 53 ticks. And that's what the red means, by the way. Loses, green is wins. We Hurt is defeated by Chilling 6-6 in their out of protection war. So it actually looks like We Hurt has the most wars. I'd have to actually check the full list, but definitely We Hurt so far has the most wars out of the top 10. Looking at the next one, Screwbloods is defeated by Moron. Screwbloods defeat Squid Game in 48 ticks. They also defeated Tugly Woods in 48 ticks. Insomnia in 58, Syndicate in 56. Good job, guys. Those are some nice short wars. That's what we all want to see. Next, Nostalgia 2-6. Interesting to see them up here. Only 4 wins and 5 wars. Just shows you how easy it is to get into the top 10. maybe people aren't trying hard enough. I don't know what to say, but anyway, they lost to Squid Game in 133 ticks. They defeated Kings of the North in 131. They min-timed Recruiting PM 3-5. They beat Evolution in 66 ticks. Evolution is also in the top 10 Warring Kingdoms. And they also defeated In War 2-4 in 48 ticks. So great job, guys. A lot of good short wars there. That's what we want to see. Looking at the Forest now. Forest defeats Kings of the North in 48 ticks. They also defeat Serial Killers in 85. They min-time Deep Blue 3-8. But they're defeated by Ellis is the Worst in 52 ticks. They defeat Cheers in just over min-time 1 tick. And the Forest actually is defeated by Cammy in 48, as we saw before. They're also defeated by min-time by WWE. And their first Out of Protection war, We Love Docking 210. They won in min-time as well. Moving on to the next kingdom, Ho 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 War. Wait, did I say Evolution was in the top 10 Warring Kingdoms? No, they're not, but they're in. I think they're one of the larger kingdoms in the game. Yeah, so they're one of the top 10 land-based kingdoms in the game, but not in the Warring this time around. They were pretty close up there though, but not enough to get into the top 10. So Ho 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 War defeats Jerks in 58 ticks. This is the kingdom sent the dragon into the Merciless and Moron War. From their war, at least they won against Jerks despite sending a dragon into another war. They defeat Insomnia on 113 ticks. Wait a second, they had a back-to-back war with Insomnia, and they min-timed Insomnia the first time. Wow. Ho 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 was defeated by Enigma 66. Mary Marauders, they win that war by min-time. Alright, look at the last. This is the 10th kingdom in the top Warring Kingdoms. So 4 wins and 6 wars. So Squid Game defeats Nostalgia in 133 ticks. They're defeated by Screwbloods in 49. They defeat Hostile D&D 5-8 and 50 ticks. They also defeated the BOL Rebels at min-time. Tugly Woods, they were defeated by in 56 ticks, and the Core was their first war, which they defeated them just over min-time 1 tick. So get into the actual wars in progress and take a look at what is going on in the world today. Oh, you know what? That's probably what that was supposed to be. So let's go back here and look at the current wars in progress. Just going to take a quick look at my screen to see if we have any YouTube comments. Doesn't look like there's anything there yet. The screen is loading. Just bear with me here. Oh, maybe there's something wrong with bot. Well, either way, well, there we go. Just a little bit slow. So yeah, as we can see, we got some, a lot of names that we recognize here currently at war or have just finished their wars recently. Syndicate, We Heard, Evolution, Qual, the New Kingdom, which we've been talking about so far, making appearance in the charts. Great job, Qual, you're really making your presence known. Enigma, Warbirds, Dreadful Fantasy, Sway, Tugly Woods, Serial Killers, Wolfpack, Toontown, Hello Beaches, Fluffylicious, Confessions of Lotus, back again. Let's see who else we got here. Can We, Ghetto Paradise, WWE Kingdom, Ghetto Nightmare, Pirates. These are all well-known kingdoms for the most part. Evil Deck, back again. Themeless, and that's all that I recognize from the chart there. So let's go into the first war. We're looking at the Warbirds Enigma War, and we have a little bit of data on this one as well. Who am I kidding? I'll grab the whole war, and we're going to look at that. So looking at the land side of things, Warbirds goes in, right away. Enigma takes control of the land, but Warbirds pulls it back, probably looking for a min-time or like a win here, after this action. However, the longer they drag it out, doesn't seem they're able to maintain this land lead, and they lose it going forward. So let's look at the net worth side of things and take a look and see what the war actually was like. Looks like Enigma was waiting for Warbirds. Warbirds came in hot, and they were dropped quite a bit, but at the beginning, not enough to do. I guess that's a convergence basically, but maybe not enough. But as you can see, there are many convergences in this war. However, a bit of a lull where Enigma seems to be taking the lead. This is likely where Warbirds takes back the land in this pace here. A lot of convergences again in this war. I mean, let's just count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I probably missed one. At least 14 or 15 conversions here on this war. Convergences. Conversions. I can't even say it anymore. Convergence. There you go. I was saying conversions before. Man, I really need more sleep. I've been working 12 hours a day this entire week, and tomorrow looks like it's going to be the same thing. But this looks pretty clear. At the end here, Warbirds is clearly, not doing so well. They try to pull it back here, but aren't able to achieve convergence here, and then, they're kind of beaten down by Enigma, unable to go forward anymore. Let's look at the honor side of things. A lot of damage was done here in this war, absolutely. Enigma came in this, with slightly less honor. Right away they took control of the battlefield. However, it's kept swinging back and forth. We see at least 5 convergences here in the end. Warbirds still a very strong performing kingdom. Even despite losing more net worth, they were still able to converge on this honor, which tells me that it was a very heated battle. Maybe a little bit closer than both kingdoms actually realized. But definitely Enigma took victory on this one. Let's take a quick look at the actual numbers here. So this is from April 22nd, year 7 to January 7th, year 9. This basically made sure that they basically made sure that Enigma didn't have a shot at the War Crown and Honor Crown by dragging this war out, because it's very likely Enigma could have gotten some more wars or possibly even gone to war against Merciless or the Moron Kingdom, and maybe they would have won, or maybe they would have warred both and won. It's very likely that Enigma could have taken the crowns of Sage for war and land. That they could have very well quad crowned if Smiles hadn't dragged this war. However, I'm not sure 100% about their record against Merciless, and there's not really any record against Moron. But if you split the kingdoms up and think about who they were, well-known warring kingdoms from the past, it's very likely that it would have been a tough battle either way. However, Enigma seems to be on a hot streak right now, with the with their first Warwind crown happening. Was it last age? Man, I really can't remember what's going on anymore. This time passes so quickly, and I'm just busy all the time. But again, thank you to KAGGES for this awesome war tracker. As you can see, 7 dragons were started, 3 dragons were completed. Enemy dragons killed 1. It's very interesting numbers on this one. Enemy dragons started, so it doesn't look like Warbirds really had many dragons to go into this war. 12 bounces for them, 24 bounces for the other kingdom. Just looking down the list here, got a lot of raises here. 350,000 peons were massacred versus the 300,000 that they suffered in return from Warbirds. Looks like, looking at the acre side of things, obviously they walked out with it. There's some some provinces that were hit really hard. These all look like TMs. It looks like a lot of the TMs were sacked out here. Even some of their high gaining attackers, look how many times they were hit. 62 times, 61 times, and they're still, they're in the red for not being able to attack as much, but they're still in the green for the acre side of things. Look at these uniques. Holy cow, 28. You don't normally see these numbers so high. Most land gained in a single march, 448 acres. Most land lost, 506. Wow. That's quite a serious war. So let's look at some of the notes that I have. Let's see here. Yeah, the point at which Smiles started to gain net worth in land, our dragon had begun a Ruby Dragon project. Cherry Coke targeted at breaded tenders. Oh, life in a box. Between the 2 dates, we were funding Cherry Coke and neutralizing TMs rather than taking land. So you can see those attacks we were looking at before on the kingdom down here. This is Warbirds, basically. These were their TMs, most likely, that they were focusing on when they were trying to close out the last days of the war there. let's see, you can see a net worth land swing and the war charts between these two dates towards 612s, and a gradual swing back after the dragons launched. I also have a log of KD Econ. We don't really need to look at that, but I think we know basically where this war was. Actually, you know what, I'm sure I could dig it up here from somewhere and just slap it on the screen. Why not? I don't see any reason why I can't do that. Let me just find it here. My God, I have so many messages from people. Thanks so much, by the way, for sending me all the stuff. Let's see, final tick before withdrawn. So this is what the war actually looked like right before withdrawal here. There we go. So 62k acres, 9.9 million net worth. TPA, WPA science, it's almost a million points higher. They're winning the peon battle. They've got plenty more troops, tons of income, low wages relative. Those numbers are correct. They must have really taken a beating. Let's just take a quick look at our... Actually, you know what? We'll do that at the end. For sure. We gotta do the wars. They're more important. Alright, let's take a look at the land. Looks like we're okay, you know, a few provinces short on one side, but 2 provinces in protection. You see this all the time. I hope these guys can come up with names. Names are always good. It looks like they had a pretty good land battle back and forth. Whoever this is. And wow, look at the convergences here. You normally don't see such good convergences on these odd wars. Actually, it looks like it's even because that guy at the top there, I missed him. So 3 provinces in protection. But yeah, there's some very nice convergences on this war. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 convergences on this war before having decided yet clearly takes the lead. Let's take a look at the honor side of things. This is a pretty heated battle, although it doesn't seem like the Red Kingdom, Unnamed Kingdom, had too much TM power or too much thought process behind who they were attacking. You know, it's basically the Blue Kingdom took away as much as possible from here. But they were already the bigger honor kingdom going in, suggesting that they probably had a little bit more strategy, a little bit more war experience. That's all I can say there. Congratulations to the Blue Kingdom. Haven't decided yet. Let's look at the next war. In war versus the Evil Deck. Now we've seen them before, I believe, although I think I did actually post their banner in the news, so you can check that out in the news. In war versus Evil Deck. Looks like Evil Deck easily won this war. They had a couple extra provinces, but other than that, they had pretty good dominance here. They're definitely, you know, doing pretty well for themselves. Taking a look at the honor side of things, they were in control the whole time. Let's move on to the next one. Good job. We Heard versus Syndicate. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, interesting land movement there. All right, very strong war pattern here. Just snip this in there. Oh, that was terrible. That really doesn't do anything at all. But as you can see, you know, Syndicate comes in as the smaller kingdom. They both basically left protection here. Sorry, ceasefire. And as you can see, this is, you know, We Heard is kind of following a little bit of a stepping stone pattern here. As Syndicate slowly declines, but eventually We Heard is actually able to achieve that convergence here again, and actually take the victory here by the end. I don't believe that Syndicate saw victory in this one, and as you can see, a very tight battle. We Heard came up and brought down Syndicate, having more honor, ended up basically switching positions with them. However, Syndicate, you know how honor and things work in this game, Syndicate didn't actually lose that much honor. They basically ended with, you know, roughly what they started with. So, you know, they did pretty well for themselves, leaving this war despite losing. Congratulations, We Heard on that victory. We got the Sway versus Dreadful Fantasy war. This war was talked about quite a bit in Muga. Dreadful Fantasy is an up-and-coming war kingdom, always looking for good players, good leadership. Be sure to check out Dreadful Fantasy. They, as I said, you know, they basically come out of nowhere in the past few ages, and they're starting to make a name for themselves on the scene. But as you can see by the numbers, they were severely beaten by Sway, which is no surprise, as Sway has many crowns and they have much experience when it comes to war and picking their kingdom. Join Sway. It's a great kingdom, but you have to be Swedish, so don't even think about it. If you're not going to get in, I guess, unless they really like you. and maybe you are Swedish but not living there. Who knows? They have very complex rules, those Swedes. So let's move on to their KD land. Nobody cares about land really so much anyway. We want to see the net worth in this. Wow, look how close that is. Sway looks like they were waiting for Dreadful Fantasy to leave their ceasefire. They came in right away. And, you know, there's, again, this war is basically just convergences. I think, you know, basically you can only count the times they didn't converge, which was like one, two-ish, maybe 1 or 2 times they didn't really converge at all, except for the initial wave here. They didn't converge just because Dreadful Fantasy pumped so hard, but Sway clearly just mopped the floor with them there. They didn't do too bad for themselves, although Sway wasn't able to achieve convergence on the honor side, so I'm just kind of wondering what happened there. I think they would have taken, I thought they would have taken more honor from Dreadful Fantasy, so interesting that they didn't actually, you know, let's just take a quick look at the net worth thing here. Dreadful Fantasy, Elf, Dryad, interesting. Dark Elves, I wonder what those elves were. I wonder, could those elves have been part of Dreadful Fantasy's core, and that's why they didn't have as much honor to give, and Sway just didn't attack the Dark Elves and Halflings as much, thereby maybe leaving them with a little bit more honor. Only Sway would know, although they are able to achieve an honor greater than what Dreadful Fantasy had going to the war, but Dreadful Fantasy having control of that one. We do have some data from this war as well. Special thanks to EasyGIF. That helps me make a lot of the, you know, artwork that I have, or blend things together, or do fancy stuff that only takes seconds. So definitely check out EasyGIF. Thanks to them for their awesome stuff that they have that I always use. But again, back to the war. Total attacks made 657. This is from Dreadful Fantasy side. 717 attacks suffered. Massacres, 279,000 peasants killed. 63 massacres to 188,000 population killed in a 54 massacres made on Sway. So Sway definitely massacred more of Dreadful Fantasy's players. As you can see, some of them being TMs here, they couldn't actually pull themselves out of the mud. Although this attacker looks like they have 46 to 70, that's a nice high number. Good job, guys. Total number of uniques 310 versus 228. So Sway definitely had more attacks on them. Looking at the Sway side of things, yeah, I mean it's pretty clear who won this war. And the attack concentration, I mean, look, you know, there's only Got Screwed basically is the only one, and this is interesting. Mikita's the bomb, took a few hits. I wonder if they're just small provinces, or maybe those were TMs, but basically everyone's fighting back. Timber got hit once. This is probably TM as well. Unknown province, who knows? We have to actually look at the kingdom pages to see. But let's move on to the next war. Great job, Sway, on your victory. We have Cheers versus Easy Please No More War. This is one of your longer wars, 169 hours. Actually, I think that's counting the ceasefire time as well. Jeez, how long is this war? Let's just take a look at the honor side of things. Yeah, you know what? I think this war's just been around for so long. It's just getting ready to leave the chart. As you can see, Cheers really took this one. I mean, not much to look at here. There's some nice convergences at the top there. It looks like they're both pumping up for the end of the age to try and get some more stuff. But, you know, Cheers basically controlled this war from start to finish. Moving on to the next one, Serial Killers versus Tugly Woods. Tugly Woods ended up being the victor here, defeating Serial Killers. Serial Killers only able to achieve convergence 2 times, and that was much later in the war, so most likely no chance for them to really win. However, looking at the honor side of things, shows a bit of a different story. I mean, Serial Killers definitely fought hard in this war. They just weren't as good as the Tugly Woods, and Tugly Woods ended up walking away with it. However, you have to give them credit for, you know, taking honor for themselves as well. I mean, it's not like they got nothing out of this war. They got about 5k honor despite losing, and they still ended up with a nice little chunk of land. Again, despite losing, it's not too much different than what the enemy got as their victory reward. and they started at a lower level, almost similar to the way they finished. So both sides had an excellent performance. Good job, Serial Killers and Tugly Woods. Let's move on to the next war. Blossoming Realm versus Fudge Shite Up. Great name. People won't like it if you fudge up their age, though. But looks like we got two micro kingdoms going to war on the land side of things. Not too much going on. Network side of things looks like Fudge Shite Up is going to take it. I mean, kind of expect that with the extra players. And they are taking the honor now, so we know where that one's going. Toontown versus Wolfpack. Looks like they were the Operation Kingdom, who, had some interesting banners. A little army operation base. Wolfpack ended up being the victory here. Sorry, the victor. The land side of things shows dominance the entire war again. On the network chart, they're showing dominance the entire war. They actually went in with 2 players less. It's a common Wolfpack thing. I don't think they ever have had, or I can't remember the last time they've actually had a one-on-one even war where they haven't had fewer provinces. But they totally dominated this war. Great job, Wolfpack. Quell the Resistance versus Evolution. This is the new Kingdom Quell that we've been talking about. It looks like, again, it's another kingdom that's gaining a bit of notoriety already in the community. Katie Land side of things shows Evolution managed to leave with more acres despite losing. I don't want to say it's a tactical loss, but they still managed to grow the kingdom despite losing the war. So always think about, wars can be used in 2 different ways. Even if you lose, you really have a good position once you leave that ceasefire. As you can see here, Quell looks like they grew to meet the enemy and they went to war. Looks like Evolution had a much stronger control in the war starting out. However, halfway through the war, and in the end, they weren't able to maintain that, which leads me to believe maybe some of their TMs were taken out. But as you can see, it's a pretty staggering drop too. Whereas Quell is just a slight decline throughout the entire process, and then they kind of level off, which kind of again makes me think that they have more stronger TMs. They're able to feed the attackers to keep the net worth higher, and things like that. Looking at the honor side of things, Quell, they came in as the higher honor kingdom. Evolution attempted to challenge them. They converged a few times, but unable to converge on the last tick. They had no choice really to withdraw, because basically Quell was just gonna start taking more honor from them and land. Just take a quick look at the image here. Again, thanks to EasyGIF for hosting this image that we could look at it on the screen. Aragorn invaded. She is my cherry pie. It looks like Squid Game sent a dragon into their war as well, and then accepted a ceasefire proposal. That's really funny. Not the elves you're looking for are slaying the dragon, Drogo ravaging the lands. So that guy killed it right away, which leads me to believe they had a lot to do. But look at all these massacres. Wow, this is one heck of a massacre wave. It'd be nice to see all the data here, but E2 is really laying into 6-5. Really. Let's take a look here. Quell versus Evolution. Our Quell first proper wave in was a full massacre wave that was interrupted by an emerald from an outside war. That's where we dropped in net worth and acres. Later in the war, we killed off the ritual they had and followed up with a Havoc Sapphire to completely pull every advantage out of their hand, which is basically what I was thinking. They had the TM advantage there after the Sapphire, and again after this huge massacre wave. Again, we can see here what they're saying from the Monarch or War Leader. They were saying about the net worth drop. Well, it looks like the game's just ticked, so it might take a minute here. Yep, there we go. So yeah, that's where their net worth kind of dropped a little bit here, and they ended up still taking that victory. When was that actually? That was July 14th. Yeah, so somewhere back here. But yeah, there was a big network, a little bit of a network dip for them, but they still managed to pull it off. It just goes to show you how important massacres are. We saw how many Sway and Dreadful Fantasy have. Alright, let's look at the next one. Medicated Monarchy versus Themeless at War. I'm not sure who Medicated Monarchy is, but we know who Themeless is. Looks like Themeless is pulling away the acres right now. Definitely looks like they're on track to win this war. Nice convergence from them. They doesn't look like they took too much damage. Medicated Monarchy, short a few players. Definitely looks like they're going to win. Honor side of things, let's just say Themeless is going to take this war most likely. But, you know, Medicated Monarchy is not exactly just giving it to them. They're fighting back. Ghetto Nightmare versus WWE Chilling. Looks like this war just concluded recently. WWE taking the win. Ghetto Nightmare not really able to meet up to the WWE Kingdom despite having one province more. They really took a beating here. You know, I'd say this is almost a total farm out on the network side of things. Honor side of things, you know, they didn't really stand a chance. They gave it all. They gave it all away. Just the way it is. Secret Project versus Pirates are. Let's see. Well, Secret Project, you might have to rework your project, because if you were beaten by Pirates, you know, what's the point of keeping it secret? No offense, Pirates, your great kingdom, just, you know, against the better warring kingdoms, you never do very well at all. But against these new kingdoms or fledgling kingdoms, you seem to kick their butts all the time. Great job, Pirates. You really dominated them in this war. Alright, honor side of things. Come on, load game, load. Pirates took it. They took it all. Just like Pirates do. Good job. Fluffalicious versus Hello Beaches. Looks like, yeah, I think they lost this war, actually. Let's take a look at the land side thing. Nope, it's still going. Let's see, 37 hours. It looks like Fluffalicious is on track to actually lose this war. Definitely doesn't look good for them. Although everyone's kind of in a state of decline on the network side of things, the honor side is kind of staying stable. Fluffalicious maybe only making a slight increase back to where they had started. Again, same thing for Hello Beaches. Not sure what's going on here, but Hello Beach is most likely going to take the win, just, you know, especially since they have 5 more provinces. Of course they are. Aren't you, Wacko? Right. Alright, Ghetto Paradise versus Can We Make Drunken Mistakes? I don't know. Let's see if this war was a drunken mistake. Definitely doesn't look like it. Ghetto Paradise seems like Can We is just dominating them right now. Let's look at the network side. Can We is clearly on track to take a win here. Not much more to look into there. Good job, Can We. You're going to win this war. Good job. Let's look at the next one. Ho 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 versus Confessions of Lotus. Now this is the kingdom who sent the dragon into the Merciless and Moron War. Great job for winning the best war of all time, guys. How could you? Alright, Confessions of Lotus looks like they're in control of the land. Confessions of Lotus, it looks like they just converged recently with Ho Ho Ho, and Ho 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 is on a track to maintain dominance. I would think the way this is playing out right now, I would be surprised if Confessions of Lotus is actually able to converge again with Ho Ho Ho, despite this war not being at min time yet. This looks like a clear victory for Ho Ho Ho, unless Confessions of Lotus can really pull something out of the bag to win this one. Last war on the chart here, Nostalgia versus Dumb Ways to Die. Looks like we're only 14 hours in, so not much to say right now. It looks like we got a nice strong land performance here. Nice convergences here on the network side of things. Only one player short on Nostalgia. Nostalgia was, I believe, in the top. They were in the top 10 kingdoms. No, were they? I think they were. No, I thought they were in the list of. You know what? They're in one of the top 10 lists for sure. So they're getting themselves on the charts either way. Dumb Ways to Die. This war definitely, won't be able to conclude before the age ends. So, you know, I hope they enjoy their last war. So awesome. Great job, everyone. We're just going to take a look at our streaming thing here. Cool. Thanks, everyone, for checking it out. But before we go on to look at the last few things here, we already looked at everything on GIMS' website, the war history thing. Special thanks to GIMS again. This is a copy of GIMS' theme, which I currently have been using for this entire age. It's pretty awesome. It's like a blue styled theme. All the buttons work, everything works. With the bot and everything, it all works perfectly. So definitely check that out. All the links are in the description for the video below, so be sure to check them out. Again, the Apple apparel stores, Apple apparel store. The Muga gaming apparel store, be sure to check it out and support Muga, especially, you know, get some sweet swag that has some of your favorite games content on it. Be sure to check out KAGGES Utopia tool formatter as well. While you're checking out GIMS' stuff, he doesn't have one for Kingdom News or Province News Generation, so definitely check it out. Just want to remind everybody that KAGGES also has an elite calculator generator that you can use. As I said, the username Province Parse, as well as the Kingdom Parse and Province Parse as well. So I think, I'm not sure what this username is. Oh, for Intel site parse with username and password. So you could submit to the Intel site with this. I think that might only be for his kingdom though. Be sure to check out the forums as well. Again, the link's in the description below. Thank you again to EasyGIF for, you know, allowing me to post these images and be shown on the screen. And again, thanks to Notepad for allowing me to have the text on the screen. Special thanks to everyone who checked out the cast. Let's just say thanks to everyone for joining here in this thing here. There's a zero plan for the fluffy war. Hey from Benji. Thank you everyone for joining. I still have to work at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow because of some emergency thing. I thought I was going to be able to sleep in, so unfortunately there isn't much time left in this podcast. But thanks everyone for checking it out. Let's go back to the screen here. Thank you everyone for coming. All right. So as I said, you know, be sure to check out the next podcast. It's actually going to be tomorrow night, despite me having to work again on Saturday and Sunday, of course. But that's neither here nor there, and doesn't affect wars in Utopia. They go on no matter what. So again, thank you everyone for joining, and be sure to check out the final changes cast tomorrow with FFW, Benji, whoever else wants to join. Be sure to reach out to me. We'll be live in the Muga chat room, where you can join live and voice your opinions, among other things, ask questions, and make comments with regards to the final changes. And of course, we'll do our regular thing where we look at all the combinations and look at all the mechanics and go over everything and talk about it in depth, and very briefly as maybe some combinations you can pick for certain types of players in your kingdom, and you know, how kind of make estimates as what we think the world will look like once it's generated. This is one of the first times that we had the changes ahead of time, before the age even ends from before, so it'll be nice to have all the time to decide, and there'll be plenty of speculation and talk, I'm sure, about what's going to be the best and what the best combinations and strategies are in the Muga Discord. So be sure to join there as well and check out and participate as much as possible. Thank you again everyone for joining. This is your host Wind signing off. See you next time.